Race 1 then of the weekend for the Protyre Motorsport Ginetta GT Championship saw Mckenzie Douglas, the champion-elect, start from pole position, and despite an early challenge from Luke Garlick, he would lead all the way to the flag. The drama, though, was behind. The returning Matt Shaw got it all wrong into Druids on lap 1, clattered into the back of Luke Garlick, and sent the man who is third place in the championship spinning into the gravel. Thankfully, Luke was able to continue. Matt was not, so a safety car period was called for. After 2 laps behind the safety car, the race got back underway and Mckenzie Douglas nailed the restart, sailing off into the lead. Connor Garlick was on the move, getting up the inside of Ed Akers, making his debut in the championship to pick up another place, but his brother Luke was also on the comeback trail, the safety car allowing him a chance briefly to challenge for a good result, although he would be given a black and orange flag for loose bodywork, forcing him to pit. Seth Henry made a good move around the outside at the final corner, and then Connor Garlick picked up a right rear puncture and unbelievably, after a pit stop, ended up being outscored by his brother in the end. Then there was a good battle going on for second position, with Robert Cronin challenging Nick White all the way, couldn't quite find a way through on the last lap. All of this, though, going on some way behind Mckenzie Douglas, who sailed home to claim another race victory here at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, it's really nice. To win at Brands Hatch is always lovely. It's a great place to be, and a great way to start the weekend off.
How challenging is this circuit, being a Ginetta?
Yeah, I mean, it's very committed, especially on the back section in the GP loop. You know, it's good fun. It's got a bit of everything, and really tests us as drivers.
I think Nick was quite far behind you, about 7.5 seconds, I think, so you were never worried.
It's never easy, but managed to get a good safety car restart, so took advantage of that and made away. The team's put a massive effort in this season, and I couldn't thank them enough. You know, it's not just down to the driver; it's down to everyone involved. So massive thank you to them.
Delighted, really. Pity we didn't get P2, but we have 2 races tomorrow, so we'll try again tomorrow. But
how challenging was it to sort of make up positions on that race?
to be fair, a crash at the start made up most of the positions, and then they just couldn't get past Nick really, but that was it really.
How would you describe the start?
Start's nice. It was the first time doing the rolling start, so didn't know what to expect. Maybe a bit shy off the start, but we'll be better again tomorrow, hopefully.
So you've had a second to reflect on that rolling start. What have you learned?
Just be more aggressive, maybe. If there wasn't a crash, I probably would have lost a few positions. But.
And how are you with the car? Did you feel the handling, the balance was something that suits you?
It's a lovely car to drive. It's a real race car. Like, it's a lot of things to learn still, but it's a nice car to drive, yeah.
You know, the aim all year was to win the AMS. We've done that at Donington, and so today was all about full enjoyment. I knew how close it was going to be in qualifying, which it was. It's a shame that there was a coming together at the start, but you know, Cronin was all over me for the whole race. You know, there was nothing between us, so it's a super strong race. I really enjoyed it.
How much do you have to stay focused when you've got someone on, you know, so close to you?
Yeah, a fair bit, but you want to look forward as much as possible. If you start mirror watching too much, then you start going back towards them. So we seemed pretty matched on pace, but it was whoever's going to make a mistake, I think, was going to end up in front, going backwards. But fantastic. How
challenging is it on this Brands Hatch circuit when you are so close? You're all in the same one-make car.
Yeah, really challenging circuit actually. It's probably for me one of the harder circuits going out to the GP. We don't get to test here that much, so it's limited running, but super fast out the back and really enjoyable.
As the AM class champion, do you feel more relaxed now coming into this final weekend?
I feel like everybody's wants to beat me even more now. So I mean you're relaxed to a point, but you know that everybody's gunning for a win all the time.
What's your thoughts going into the final two tomorrow?
So I think we start P3 again. So yeah, we'll try and do the same. Try and keep Mckenzie a bit longer if we can, and have a clean race.
You enjoying it?
Yeah, absolutely love it.
The penultimate race of the season for the Protyre Motorsport Ginetta GT Championship was full of drama. Mckenzie Douglas from pole position was able to hang on to the lead at the start, despite the best efforts of Luke Garlick, who tried and tried and tried to go around the outside into Druids, but just didn't quite have the grip. In fact, he wasn't the only one. There were a few drivers on the opening laps who looked like they were struggling. Luke then really struggling, coming out of Hawthorne, a big grassy moment that could easily have ended in disaster, but amazingly, he only lost one place, allowing Nick White, the AM class leader, through into second position. position. Then Ed Akers took a trip to the grass going through Sheen Curve, another good bit of car control to keep the car pointing in vaguely the right direction. He then picked up a bit of circuit furniture and engaged in an entertaining tussle with Callum Noble for 6th position. Luke Garlick was chasing after Nick White, again taking to the grass, this time through Sheen Curve, and that allowed Robert Cronin through into 3rd position. That, though, would become 2nd place when the race leader Mckenzie Douglas picked up a right front puncture, and that meant Nick White and Robert Cronin would engage in a very entertaining last lap battle for the victory. A battle that was eventually won out by Nick White, who held on by the skin of his teeth to claim an overall race victory, with Robert Cronin and Luke Garlick joining him on the podium with one more race to go this season.
Absolutely fantastic. I felt a bit better in that. The pace was a bit better. I was keeping Mckenzie at least honest. He wasn't disappearing, but yeah, suddenly on the kind of the back straight, I could see a lot of time was lost. So I thought something must be amiss. And you've got to be there to capitalise on it. And Luke made a mistake on lap 1, which put me up to 2nd. Yeah, got to be there to take the prizes when they're there for the taking.
Well, it's not always easy, is it, to overtake here at Brands, as we know, but you've got to wait on those opportunities when they present themselves.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You got to be there, never give up, and just keep pushing every lap. But Rob was coming on strong towards the end, and I knew I had a little bit of a gap, but perhaps I took a bit of a breather too much because he caught right up me at the end.
You see a bit of grass in the front of the car there. Did you have an excursion? Oh, that's not yours.
No, it's not mine. That's from the other car in front. Was sending it. There was a load of grass out the back across the track. So yeah, I kept it on the black stuff.
Looking forward to the final race of the weekend.
Even more so. Now I think we're on pole for that one. So yeah, absolutely. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, good race really. Didn't quite get Nick at the end. Maybe another lap when I could have, but.
Were you just lacking in pace?
In the middle of the race, yeah, felt like I just couldn't catch him. But towards the end, I don't know, did he back off or did the car go off? But caught him the last lap really, and then just a bit too late.
How challenging is it to sort of race on the circuit here at Brands Hatch?
Yeah, no, Brands is a really fast circuit, so it's quite hard to pass. So it's just, you never know where you can pass really, just try to force him into a mistake.
Delighted though to be on the podium?
Yeah, happy enough.
Well done.
Thanks.
Yeah, bit disappointed with myself with that one, I can't lie. Just couldn't put in a move though with the dirty air around here, but yeah, focusing more on the championship now. We were knocked off at Donington, so we're going to try and salvage what we can do.
It's hard, isn't it? Because these cars are very close together.
Yeah, with all the ABS and stuff, everyone's braking in the same place, getting the throttle in the same place. You just got to wait for someone to make a mistake really, but I think that's what makes this championship good.
How important is it then to sort of keep your mind focused when you're behind the wheel?
Very much so. I think a lesson I definitely learned from this race, I could say. But yeah, it's the most important thing in racing, just to get in the rhythm, keep your head straight and go for the win.
You said you learnt in this race. What is the biggest thing you learnt that you're going to take into the final race?
Not to go off track really.
Well, at the start of the final race of the season for the Protyre Motorsport Ginetta GT Championship, Nick White had it all going on in his mirrors, really. He had an early challenge from Robert Cronin, but he was then tapped into a spin by Luke Garlick. Garlick's car stuck in the gravel, went no further, and that was his chance of finishing 2nd in the championship. Well and truly over. After a safety car period to extricate his car from the gravel trap, all eyes were then on Robert Cronin and Harry Mangan, both of whom were battling with Seth Henry for a position outside of the top 3. Initially, Mangan made his move at Surtees corner, but Seth Henry stood his ground, and it was a good side-by-side battle all the way down the hill and into Hawthorns, with Robert Cronin keeping a watching brief behind. Robert undoubtedly had good pace in the first part of the race, but it was a struggle to make his way through the traffic. As Mangan went through, Cronin followed him by, but that would not be the last we saw of Seth Henry in this race. Robert Cronin then had a go at getting past Harry Mangan. This he achieved with slightly less success. They were side-by-side through Druids. Mangan stood his ground, got back to the inside line into Graham Hill Bend, and stuck out on the outside line. Cronin was slow off the corner, and that opened the door for Seth Henry to opportunistically move back through and reclaim the position. All of this going on, though, some way behind Nick White, who completed a brilliant season with another race win in the final race of the year.
Ed, how satisfying is that to be on the podium for the final race here at Brands?
It's actually a relief. I mean, it was just I could see the cars behind me were much more experienced in this sector of racing than me. They were creeping ever so closer. I'm not used to running on slick tyres and getting the best out of them throughout the mid-race, and I could tell that they were falling off the last few laps, and I was struggling to manage that. But honestly, I'm absolutely delighted. It's just rounded off a fantastic one-off weekend for me this year, and this podium and this guest win is going to my 9-week-old daughter Charlotte. I love you very much.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, when she's a bit older and can understand, she'll appreciate seeing you on camera. But just talk us through the start of the race. How were you feeling at the beginning?
So actually, the start of the race was obviously sheer panic. There was 2 cars spun off in front of me, managed to get through it, and then it was maintained. So I was behind faster and more experienced racers, and I thought, well, if I can hang on to the back of them, follow their lines, just learn a bit, maybe I can get through to an overall podium. So that's where we've at, overall podium. Guest P1, and obviously Nick has done fantastic this championship so far, so to be the only AM driver behind Nick is great in itself as well, so I'm absolutely delighted.
Will we see you back?
That's the plan, that's the hope.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a stressful weekend from race 1 with the punch, and then race 2 this morning. Made a little mistake and nice to finish with a win on the weekend, last weekend of the year.
How challenging has Brands been?
Has its highs and lows. They didn't really do too much testing, but considering I managed to get a win, so it can't be too bad.
How would you describe that final race? Because it was so hectic, and then the lead kept changing and the positions kept changing. How was it for you?
Definitely a bit hectic at the start, trying to avoid the car spinning, and then tyres just dropped off, unfortunately, and I think I managed to stay first in the road, and I managed to get first in pro, which is good.
Did you enjoy the battles?
Definitely good battles, that's for sure.
That's the best way to end the season.
Definitely a good high of the year, for sure.
And what are your plans for next year?
Not too sure at the moment. Got to see what happens over winter and go from there, really.
Yeah, I don't think we could have asked for much more than that. We came in to think we've got a chance of being at the front. Sometimes things happen on the race that fall in place for you. I didn't quite expect to get it quite so easy on that race, if I'm being honest. Looked at my mirrors after turn 1 and saw sort of a pirouette of 2 of them synchronised together. And then it was just a matter of, after the safety car restart, got a really good start and just managed it, really. I saw Connor had a couple of one moment out the back and thought, right, okay, we just need to drive home now sensibly. So, yeah, it's brilliant.
How satisfied are you with your performance throughout the season?
Yeah, it's been unreal, to be honest. If you told me at the beginning of the season what the results we've had, I definitely wouldn't have believed you. Jumping up from GT Academy into this was a lot to learn compared to the other car. Once we got to grips with it, there was nothing but trying to move forward.
What was the biggest thing that you learnt?
Tyre management's the biggest thing for me, and then our mixed conditions were the hardest thing this year. I think this is the only race meeting we've had where we haven't had to use a wet tyre, although we had testing in the rain. Deciding what tyre you're going on, damp conditions on slicks, that sort of stuff, you compared to the year before, was the biggest learning curve for me.
And have you enjoyed all the battles on track?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've nearly had a battle with everybody on track, so no, it's been fantastic.
Okay, well, many congratulations.
Thank you.